Hi, I'm Nick McEwen.
What's up, y'all? I'm Griffin E. Brandon.
Hi, I'm Billy.
I'm Connor Swartz.
Hi, my name is Alyssa.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Michael Daniel.
Hi, my name is Justin.
Hi, I'm Noah.
Hi, my name is Sky.
Character I look up to. I didn't really watch a ton of animated stuff as a kid, so I don't have any like childhood role models I looked up to. I would say nowadays, honestly, really just about any main character in a lot of anime that's just like, you know, do your best, treat your friends well, blah, blah, blah. So I'd say probably Luffy. I am the AN, or at least one of AN's verified One Piece nerds. I gotta just say Luffy. I respect that guy. I look up to him. He just wants to help his friends. He gets fed food once and will topple a government, and I would do the same. Give me a reason.
So for cartoon characters I looked up to as a kid, I don't know. I guess for an answer, I'm probably just gonna have to go with Batman. Like as a kid, I always watch a whole bunch of Batman cartoons, like Batman the Animated Series, The Batman, Beware the Batman, and honestly, I just look to him as like one of the best superheroes I've ever seen. But for nowadays, I would have to say like anime characters like Natsu, Dragon Eel from Fairy Tail, or just Asto from Black Clover, because they're like the kind of characters I look up to a lot. Like they never give up, they're always positive, and they treat their friends better than anything else. And yeah.
My childhood role model is, well, hold on. I'm gonna say something before this because actually, they never said whether this has to be a good role model or not. And looking back on it, I think my main childhood role model person I looked up to that was like, oh my God, they're so cool, was Spectra from Bakugan. And now he's actually the antagonist of the show, at least like third-party antagonist, where they kind of switch sides halfway through. But I just thought he was so cool, so I feel like it can't be anyone but him who was my role model as a very small child.
Anakin Skywalker. I love the Clone Wars, absolute favorite show growing up. And Anakin, he always did what's right until, I mean, you know, end of Clone Wars, beginning of, Revenge of the Sith and whatnot. He was a good guy. He did what had to be done. He was a hero of the Republic, and yeah, solid guy.
And my cartoon role model as a child, and kind of to this day, Greg Universe from Steven Universe. He's a great guy, super lovable, family man. He cares about all the people in his town. He cares about his son. He cares about his wife. He's just a stand-up guy.
And my model growing up would have to be Steven from Steven Universe. Like, I get it, he's a kid, he does stupid things at times, but you know what? He learns his lessons. He's a good role model of not fighting, not causing fights, just talking it out, just being supportive. I think that's a important role model for people to have, especially for me to follow. Honorable mention too, I guess more recently, I would say Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. Like, he really cares for his family, his sister, and he doesn't give up on training to becoming a Demon Slayer. So I would give my honorable mention to him.
And my cartoon role model, I mean, I have two because it changed. At first, I'm a really big fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I really liked Zuko. Not necessarily at the beginning, but whenever he was realizing maybe he's not what everyone tells him to be. Because I really resonate with that, as I was always gonna be one of the people to like go play sports, but I never played sports whenever I was younger. I was always in band and stuff. But as I got older, it switched from like Zuko to like Uncle Iroh. I just really like Iroh. He's just a really good character, and he has a lot to say. So it kind of switched throughout my childhood. Started out with Zuko, and then I vibe more with Uncle Iroh.
I'm gonna say Giovanni from Pokemon because I appreciate. I'm gonna say James from Pokemon. He's just a chill guy who's just like chilling around. He's like a nice, cool guy. He may be a criminal, but he's a nice kind of criminal. He takes care of his Chimecho, a Pokemon that I like, no one else likes, because like, it's Chimecho. Like, it's not Salamence, it's Chimecho. Yeah, I think he's cool. That's it. So that's my role model.
And in terms of cartoon role models, I feel like there's a few that I really like. Jack from Beastars is one of my favorites. He's just a good friend to all, and I think he's really cool. But I think I gotta say, the main protagonist from Zom 100, I believe his name is Akira. He's really cool. He has boundless optimism, even in the face of the apocalypse, and I think that is a quality that I should embody, you know? I think that I should always be trying to look on the bright side, because the world is a scary place, and I think it's good to make it a little brighter.
I think my cartoon role model, oddly enough, would probably be SpongeBob, because like, in all seriousness, he is like genuinely like a really happy dude. And like, he just like, you know, he likes living his life, he likes his friends, even if they don't really like him back, you know, Squidward. And you know, he just likes living life, you know, like he likes his job, even though he barely gets paid anything, and his boss tried to sell his soul for 62 cents. But you know, he likes everyone around him, and you know what? I think that SpongeBob is the kind of guy we need to strive to be, you know. But in a more joking sense, I think that another role model I had was Grunkle Stan, because that guy just, he really knows how to live, let me tell you. Despite the fact that he's probably banned from like 40 some states or whatever, you know, he lives life to the fullest, even if he's like conning people out of all their money, you know?
My cartoon role model when I was growing up, I had to say was Kim Possible. I really wanted to be a super spy like she was. I wanted to be cool, you know, she was like a head cheerleader, people liked her, and I thought that was cool. But now, like, if I could think of someone that I'd like aspire to like follow their traits and everything, I'm gonna have to agree with Nick and say Luffy. He's loyal to his friends, he's super supportive, he gets the job done, he isn't afraid of anything. He just like, you need this done? Cool, it's done. And like, he will topple your government for a half-cooked Hot Pocket you gave him. And honestly, I aspire to reach that level, and I want to topple a government for one Hot Pocket.
I'm sure everyone's seen their own adaptation of the famed orphan and Cape Crusader Batman. But that just brings up the question, which adaptation did this billionaire emo best? If you ask me, it's none other than the masterpiece, the Lego Batman movie. The Lego Batman movie came out 6 years ago, but definitely still holds up. I mean, just look at the cast. You have Will Arnett playing the Dark Knight himself, Michael Cera as his sidekick Robin, and even Rosario Dawson playing Batgirl. That's just a few of them too. The amazing voice talent with the silly writing just works. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is this one your favorite? And I have a simple answer. It's not a depressing 4-hour movie that takes itself too seriously. For too long, we've been subjected to DC movies that include Batman that just paint him as a stoic and serious loner who drinks justice for breakfast. That was a fun take the first 3 times, but yeesh, it's been years now. It's time for something new, something Lego. When did it become standard for almost every DC movie to release just take itself so seriously? Like, I get that they can get dark, but there's also a lot of humor in them. I suppose we see some of that in the other animated Justice League films, but I don't think anyone does it better than the Lego Batman movie. I also really like it because it's a Batman film where we don't have to see Bruce's origin story for the millionth time. We know they saw a movie, and we know what happens in Crime Alley. I really wish we could get past this. Seriously, I swear, even if I asked someone who never watched Batman before, they would know the answer to, why did Bruce Wayne become Batman? I don't think the event needs to be redone every other year. I feel it's only appropriate to talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack really makes it. Well, that and the dialogue. The first song was actually written by Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. It's my favorite in the movie, and yes, I even listened to it while doing homework or even just walking around. The song, titled Who's the Batman, has hilarious lines such as, who always pays their taxes? Not Batman. It never fails to make me laugh. I'll admit, it's written like a children's film. Because it is. But that doesn't hurt its charm in the slightest. I mean, the whole movie even makes fun of the DC universe and just movies in general. From the bit about logos before the movie even starts to Alfred talking about pretty much every other Batman movie that's come out. Let's talk about Batman. His character is shown to be egotistical to a comical degree. He's self-centered, but lonely. Outgoing, yet afraid to get too close to anyone. Compelling and incredibly silly because of how self-centered he is. The only critique I have is the crush/relationship the movie seems to push with Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, and Batman. Most iterations have her much younger than him, so that was a little weird to me. But I honestly just try to ignore it and enjoy everything else going on. It's not even that really big of a plot point to me anyway. Now, I've talked a bit about Batman's performance, so I think it's time to shed some light on our clown prince of crime, the Joker. In the film, he's played by Zach Galifianakis. He does an incredible job at bringing the humor to the Joker. Again, I know that he can be a serious character, like Batman. I just like retellings like this where he isn't. I also love that they frame their hatred for each other like a bromance throughout the movie. Seriously, watch the film and imagine they're a married couple or a relationship that's falling apart and needs fixed. It's pretty much the same vibe. They have much better chemistry than Barb and Bruce do. Sure, there's a lot of edgy adaptations of this violent, flamboyant clown, but this one just has a special place in my heart. Goofy Joker over edgy Joker, any day. I just wanted to have a quick appreciation for Harley Quinn in this movie too. She's always been a fave of mine, and while she has little screen time, she's like the Joker's bestie who's telling him, oh, you don't need him, you can do better, you're better than him, and I just live for it. I also really appreciate that they didn't include their toxic relationship in the movie. This is a much better relationship for them than the one they have in most media. I also think it's fair to give some recognition to the only reason the Wayne estate is still standing, Alfred Pennyworth. The whole film he's pushing Bruce to venture outside of his comfort zone and let people into his life, because his trauma makes him think he can't have a family, despite the fact that he accidentally adopted Robin. He even sasses him back, and I love when they give Alfred that attitude towards Bruce. Sometimes he really needs to hear it. While this film is incredibly silly, there are moments where it does pull on the heartstrings a bit. The moment where Bruce realizes that he cares about the people around him and even tries to sacrifice himself to save them. It was a really big turnaround, and it's really touching. Speaking of touching, I know that a lot of Batman media doesn't portray any fatherly bonding moments with Bruce and any of the Robins. Sometimes they do, but the best I've seen done have been fan works. This film gives Batman moments of bonding with Robin, albeit using him to get what he wants. Not the greatest, but still better than the stone-cold, closed-off lone wolf most comics portray him as. The selection as a favorite may seem silly, but it's a kind of Batman adaptation that was really refreshing to see. Goofy, for sure, but definitely needed. There's a million debates on what the best adaptation or iteration of Bruce Wayne is best, but this is my pick. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay animated, Indiana.
Hey everyone, welcome to AN. I am Donovan and I'm dressed as a cow.
I'm Griffin E. Brandon, dressed as Satoru Gojo.
And 7 Deadly Sins. I mean, this is the anime that we really enjoy. We watch a lot of.
I love the anime a lot. It was like one of the first anime I've ever seen.
It was definitely one of the first Netflix series I ever saw.
It was the first Netflix series I've ever saw.
That is fair. That also is for me too.
I started watching this anime way back in 2018 when I was scrolling on Netflix. I just saw a thumbnail of 7 Deadly Sins having a demon on there, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this. And it was worth it because it was awesome. Yeah. And not to mention the movies were great.
Yeah, the movies were really great.
But what I enjoy most is the characters. But I will say this, the end kind of sucks.
Oh, I guess we're kind of starting with this already. Okay. All right. So I guess yeah. I got one of that. Definitely, if I had to like kind of give them like a rating, kind of like. It probably the end would probably have to be the last one on there, and it's not because of the character herself.
No.
Because she's a very sweet character. She's like the stereotypical like love-struck teen, like kind of like she like has a very big crush. She works with that crush 24/7.
I mean, she did start off as being straight up mean to the best girl, Elizabeth.
Oh, well, jealousy.
Let's be honest, she never had a shot. She never had a shot with Meliodas.
Listen, you've seen it all in anime. Well, you kind of know why she's like so like infatuated with him, because he was one of the only people who actually treated her as a normal person.
Yeah, and he wanted to protect her when she was going to get executed by the kingdom.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, her power is useful, but it's just straight up earth magic. That's all it is.
Well, I feel like in every fighting scene that she ever has, like with the exception of the tournament, like whenever they were trying to get her hammer back, I don't think she never ever really like. I think she always got like beaten up on every single one. And as a giant, like you expect them to be like super strong and all that stuff, but like compared to our competition, she kind of like was nothing special on it. And that was kind of like the big problem with her. But other than that, I think the character was really, really great. I think just battle-wise, she was like It's definitely the weakest out of them, and I guess overall that kind of has to put her a little bit down. Kind of next for me is kind of the opposite. Battle-wise, she's really good. Character-wise, she's kind of garbage, and that would definitely be Merlin for me.
Yeah. I would say the next one would have to be King.
King?
Yeah, King's lame.
What do you mean King's lame?
Are you serious?
Listen. He is the king of the fairy race. I don't know what you're talking about.
You
like,
mean the king of the fairy forest that he abandoned and never came back until it was absolutely destroyed?
Listen, he had his redemption arc. I don't know what you're talking about. Like he came back.
That doesn't fix the fact that he was.
In his mind, like literally he was just on the stoke of revenge, like against Bond, because he thought Bond was the reason why his whole entire village was like killed onto it. Plus he was a part of the Seven Deadly Sins at the time. Like it's kind of hard for him to travel back and forth with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But however, he's very terrible in combat unless he has his chastity full.
Yeah, but when is he never fighting with his chastity full, except for like the?
You know how easy it would be
except for the one tournament scene where he was not allowed to have his magical weapons, except for his pillow.
A lot of characters can easily take his spear, and he'll be like,
Yeah, but he has it. Listen, he has his glow up during season. I'm trying to think.
But he also has his glow down where he has his human form. He's fat and ugly. He looks like an alcoholic.
When is he ever really in his human form during combat, though? Like, he's always in his fairy form. Plus,
it's still very useless. Like, what's the point of it? The only time he ever used it was to wear his armor, which is also fat.
Yeah. So what?
It's useless.
Did he ever use it in a battle? No, it doesn't really matter because as a fighter he was pretty strong.
Then what's the point of even having a human form if you can't even use it in battle?
Listen, that's the same thing as listen. Like not every fairy used their human form in terms of like combat or whatever, and they were still super strong in their fairy form, like Harlequin. Whenever he was in there. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I don't know why I'm really debating about it because King was going to be next after Merlin. I just thought he was better than Merlin onto it.
I think Merlin is better than King.
Battle-wise, I think she's pretty. Battle-wise, she's definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the whole entire thing. With the exception, no, she's one of the strongest. Maybe probably the second strongest, except for like one person who's the definition of strong. But
but overall, I would just put her on.
Character-wise, she's okay. So first season, she was fine. She was a little like I kind of wanted a little bit more substance. She kind of comes in like the last 3 episodes of the anime, and she really only does like 2 moves, and then she stays with the king. And she does heal the king. Like I'll give her that, and she does save everybody from when the commandment comes and with an illusion.
That's true, but she's only mainly useful for 2 spells. You got the perfect cube, which is impossible to break out unless if you're like Chandler, who just bopped it and then it popped, or absolute cancel, which nullifies any magic attack after her.
Yeah,
that's
but
all.
What about her main ability though, Infinity?
That is just straight up confusing. Stopping your own time? I mean, that's impressive.
Well, that makes her equally as strong because you don't know how long she's actually, like, you kind of have a reference point of how long she's lived for, like, in the 4th season. But
yeah, but she can make herself more useful. She only appears at, like, the last possible second.
She does take out 2 of the commandments, though.
Yeah, but at the last possible second, like I said, because she killed.
So did Escanor. Escanor took out, I already forgot what his name is. It was Meliodas' brother. It wasn't Estarossa. It wasn't Zoldrin. It was Estarossa. I was like, Escanor also took him out kind of last minute onto it. So under that logic, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, a lot of the characters come in last minute to kill the enemy. That's just kind of the show.
You can't deny that Merlin's personality or character overall is pretty bad.
No, that's why I have her a second. Like personality, like character-wise, like. I don't know. She does Escanor dirty.
She does.
And plus, she does Elizabeth dirty. Like you talk about Deanne being bad with it. I wish Deanne didn't kill Elizabeth multiple times.
You have a point there.
So 4th, I have Gother. 4th, I have Gother.
Mm-hmm. His backstory was the only one that actually made me tear up.
Yeah, I thought his backstory was really sad. I thought his twist of him being a doll was actually really interesting in concept, and it kind of makes sense as you like. you rewatch the season with it, and you kind of realize that's why he's so like, he doesn't understand human emotions, why he can kind of stand up from any type of injury, why he never really like shows any emotion other than like kind of like his muted face onto that. Like because he can't really like show, he can't really show that emotion onto it because he's like a doll. But he does get more characterization after that backstory, which I really like about it.
And not to mention his his magic is really cool and unique and impressive.
Yeah, his powers is really, really cool. Just being able to like mess with your mind, control your mind of multiple different people.
And even erase your whole memory.
Yeah, and be able to kind of use you as like as puppets. It's like really, really cool. And plus it's lethal in battle as well because it can kind of just put you in this endless nightmare that kills you.
Plus his sacred treasure is one of the coolest ones. It's a bow and arrow made straight up out of magic.
Yeah, it's a bow and arrow made of light, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely one of the coolest like looking secret treasures in the whole.
He doesn't have to worry about losing it because he could just.
What if ironically he just loses his memory? Like somehow he just loses his memory.
That's hilarious.
Well, that's ironic. That would just be ironic to him and be like, bro, how do you lose your memory whenever you? That's your whole entire stick with everybody else.
But I will admit, his appearance was the biggest twist. We all remember him having a gigantic suit of armor, but he ended up just being a small dude.
Yeah, but I kind of like that running.
Yeah, I like that too.
I kind of like that running.
It's
joke.
unique.
Yeah, I kind of like that running joke. So character and battle wise, he's like definitely like middle of the pack. At number 3,
I would put Bon at number 3 because he started out as being immortal. Like he couldn't die.
Not gonna lie, knowing you, I thought you were gonna put Meliodas at 3rd.
You know, it was hard to pick between Meliodas and Bon because overall, I do like how Bon turned out in the later seasons after Purgatory because not only did he lose his immortality, but he got a whole hell of a lot stronger, and that's just sick.
Yeah, he like literally he took like literally he just takes whatever he got in life and he gotta like utilize. His backstory was also one of the saddest ones in there too.
It was pretty sad.
But it was like the stereotypical story of like just orphan kid gets adopted by thief and stuff like that. But it was a unique twist on like the story as well.
It does truly explain why he's the sin of greed.
And the reason why he does what he does and I love his little romance with him and Elaine. I think it's like one of the sweeter ones on it.
I do admit it's adorable.
At some points I think it's more sweeter than the Meliodas and Elizabeth one, but like and then battle wise I think he's really strong. He's definitely not obviously definitely not physically the strongest out of everybody or magically the strongest, but he's not as much of a jack of all trades as Meliodas, but like he's definitely like he can pretty much do anything like that he really wants to do. And also he was especially very useful when it comes to demons, being able to like steal their hearts, like multiple of their hearts and crush them on that.
And also, his sacred treasure is super cool. It's a replica of his nunchucks, but it's also like a spear.
Yeah, I just love the choreography with his fight scenes, with using it. Like,
and his character suits him, edgy, slick.
Well, just like nonchalant, just not really, just not really caring about a lot of things. Not taking, like he does get serious obviously when he needs it, but he isn't the most immediate to take things seriously with it. And then I guess for number 2, I guess it has to be Meliodas for me.
Yeah, definitely Meliodas. I mean, he's like the son of the Demon King. He's the main protagonist. He was once the leader of the 10 Commandments, and now is the leader of the 7 Deadly Sins, and also is now the king of Leonis.
Yeah, I do love the big character development he has. I love a lot of the foreshadowing that comes throughout the whole entire story with it. As you kind of like rewatch it, you kind of realize like with watching season 1, after watching season 1 again with everything, I kind of like looked back at it, I'm like, bro, he might have lost a lot of these fights, but like if you think about it, like he's kind of like with those memes with Ultra Instinct Shaggy, like I'm only using 1% of my power, now I can use 2%.
Yeah.
Like he's never really fighting full strength in a lot of fights.
Exactly, his magic is broken. All he does is like full counter, and it deflects with double impact, but he can use it with like anything besides a sword.
There's also a revenge counter too, where he literally just takes all the damage he takes and then amplifies it with his damage. With his strength, and then he can hit harder. And he already hits hard enough, like being a demon, being the king, literally being the commander of the 10 Commandments, which were the strongest demons that wasn't the Demon King. onto it, and also being the child of the Demon King. He was already like ridiculously powerful before.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention, his sacred treasure, Lost Vein, suits him very well, considering its main power is physical clone, which makes him clone himself.
Yeah.
And it's like a great advantage for his full counter ability.
Yeah, and also it like has the strength of him as well, so you can just. So a lot of times he's just wearing people down. Even though yes, a lot of times he does get beaten up. I feel like that's less of the fact that of the character and more of the fact of the writing himself of like trying to like give suspense into it. But because if you put them one-on-one with a lot of each other, with the exception of one character, I feel like he could beat any character in the universe, with the exception of one.
And his character personality overall is, I think it's kind of funny because he's kind of goofy and he's like casual and laid back, especially when it comes to like a big battle. He's like, wow, we got a lot of demons down there.
Yeah, like he's not like the stereotypical edgy protagonist. Like obviously, like he's not like the type of person that's like I've seen many wars. Like of course he does get serious at points on that, and he does get very very serious at points. But like at the same time, he never really loses his chill lax personality, even in the face of death.
Well, we kind of make he does when his darkness consumes him. He goes full on assault mode.
Yeah, true. Whenever you say it like that, it makes me think of Kingdom Hearts because the Riku has the same problem when he has darkness. But that's a talk for another day.
But we cannot deny that the #1 member of the 7 Deadly Sins is our boy Escanor.
And definitely our favorite is definitely Escanor.
He is the GOAT. I mean, sure, I know he's the Lion's of Pride, but he is the GOAT. He is my boy, my dog.
His introduction was also the best.
Yeah,
of all the Sins
he starts off as being a wimpy bartender, but when the sun comes up, he's this jacked up dude, and he just beats the ever-loving crap out of Galen, and it's sick.
His power is definitely the most broken when it next to Meliodas.
Sunshine.
With his power, with him getting stronger, with his power getting stronger as the sun rises, with him peaking at high noon.
The more the sun rises, the more powerful he gets.
Yeah, and really out of everybody, so everybody in the Sins, it's like, with the exception of Bond, all of them are of a different race in a type of thing. Like obviously Merlin's like a part of like I forgot what her race is. I'm just gonna say she's a witch.
She considered herself as a former human in a way.
Yeah. Deanne's obviously a giant. Harlequin's
a fairy.
Meliodas is a demon. And then
Bond is a former human.
Yeah, Bond's a former human, and then Gother is a doll, and then Escanor is just a full-blooded human. Like he never ever like plays as like a god.
That's ironic too, because every other race in the whole series considers humans to be the most weakest and the most short-lived, but in the end, most of them get taken down by our boy Escanor.
Yeah, no, Escanor is just irony, personified into a character, just because we kind of alluded to it like on the last one, talking about Meliodas being like Meliodas could take everybody out except for one person, and that's Escanor.
Yeah, because when he goes into the one, he was like, holy sword, Escanor, and he just Meliodas.
Yeah, no, he literally took out Meliodas like by himself, who was at the time had his full demon powers back, and he was as strong as he was whenever he was the captain of the commandments. So he was at his peak, and Escanor literally humbled him so quickly.
It was nothing.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he's basically immune to all the other commandments. Like for example, Esterosis benevolence. When everyone was stuck to the ground, Escanor just walked up to him like it wasn't even affecting him.
Yeah, because he didn't see himself as weaker than him on that, because he's prideful. He saw himself as he is the one. He is the one who stands above everybody else. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Until next time, you guys stay animated, Indiana.
Stay animated, Indiana.